You are watching Tech Support Spy.
Hey, welcome back to another Tech Support Spy video. As always, we appreciate you guys watching us and joining us and watching our content here at Tech Support Spy. We got some information here to share with you about Microsoft and Windows 10. All right, we have been on a little bit of a hiatus. We're now back. We apologize for not putting out any content. For those subscribers and our viewers of our content, we've been having a lot of stuff going on. We do need your support in watching our videos and sharing our videos with others and helping us get people to subscribe and hit likes on our videos, comment below, help the YouTube algorithm to pick up our videos and push our videos out so that we can get more views and be able to get more support for Tech Support Spy. But I do have a topic here to talk to you about Windows 10. Did you know that Windows 10 or Microsoft is getting sued for ending the support for Windows 10? I have an article here today to read through with you guys, and let's talk about Microsoft getting sued for sunsetting Windows 10. All right, guys, let's dive right into this. So we're going to read an article from lifehacker.com. There's a lot of publications that I subscribe to kind of help keep up to date on technology and what's going on in the world when it comes to computers and technology. So you think of like life hacker, you think it's like a life hacker. It's a hacker that might hack your system. No, they're just a publication that publicizes articles and information about technology. It's like Tech Support Spy. First heard of Tech Support Spy, you probably thought I was a spy, but no, that's just the name of our brand and name of my company that I named it and called it Tech Support Spy Life Hacker. So Life Hacker is actually pretty good. I subscribe to a lot of their articles and a lot of their publications that they put out. But they talk about here, and this should be all over the net. I'm a couple days late on this, but talks about how Microsoft is now being sued over sunsetting Windows 10. And it talks about Windows 10 end of life, obviously, we all know is going to be ending on October 14th of 2025. So Microsoft will officially stop supporting the operating system or the OS. That does mean Windows 10 machines will stop. That does not mean or doesn't mean Windows 10 machines will stop working overnight. On the contrary, the experience will feel exactly the same. The difference, however, is that Microsoft will no longer issue security updates for Windows 10, putting those users at great risk going forward. So then it talks about those users will either have to update their existing machines to Windows 11, buy a new machine that is compatible with Windows 11, or enroll in an extra year of Extended Security Updates, ESU, that gives you basically a year of continuing security updates from Microsoft for your Windows 10 machine. That last option is likely the choice for most Windows 10 users who want to continue safely using their operating system or OS in an uninterrupted manner. It's like an alternate reality in which Microsoft never ends Windows 10 support and now continues to patch security vulnerabilities for at least 1 year. So basically, they're going to give you updates and security patches for Windows 10 for a year. And after that, kaput. That's it. If you want to keep your Windows 10 PC protected from security vulnerabilities past October 14th, this is the option for you. The thing is, it's likely involves a one-time payment of $30, which is for the extended security updates, unless you're open to one of the Microsoft 2 alternative enrollment methods. Opting into Windows Backup, which I believe, I read a little article on that as well, you have to use OneDrive. I'm not a fan of OneDrive personally. Or redeeming 1,000 Microsoft reward points. There's apparently another option, however, that most of us haven't considered: suing Microsoft directly. The lawsuit against Microsoft, let's talk about this. So there's a gentleman by the name of Lawrence Klein of California. He filed a lawsuit against Microsoft in June, alleging the company is unfairly forcing customers to buy new computers in order to continue using Windows. Excuse me. Klein argues that customers bought their Windows 10 PCs with the expectation that they'll be able to upgrade them into the future, while at the same time, Microsoft was knowingly selling machines that they plan to make impossible to update. Klein himself has two PCs that reportedly can not be upgraded to Windows 11. The lawsuit doesn't specify which minimum requirements Klein's hardware is missing, but it does highlight general specs, including Intel 8th generation or Intel 8th gen Coffee Lake or Zen 2 CPUs and up. Zen 2 CPUs are the AMD Ryzen processors. TPM 2.0 trusted platform module, support 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. The TPM 2.0 requirement is particular went viral when Windows 11 dropped because it's simply a piece of security hardware. Even high-end machines without TPM 2.0 won't warrant Windows 11 ready. I don't know why I'm slipping on reading tonight, but that's basically letting you know that for those hardware specs, they don't really know all the highlights of what Mr. Klein has in his machine. But obviously, if he can't upgrade to Windows 11, his PC or that Windows 10 machine that he has probably does not have the minimum hardware requirements to use Windows 11. Mainly, he probably does not have a TPM 2.0 module, which I'm assuming. But there's ways to upgrade your Windows 10 machine to Windows 11, like a workaround if you don't have these requirements as far as a TPM 2.0 module. I do have a video advising you not to do that because there is a risk that your hardware may not support it. You may have performance issues, and you can watch that video. You'll see at the end of this video of me showing you watching that video for me recommending you not to use the workaround to upgrade your Windows 10 machine to Windows 11. But I like where Mr. Klein here is thinking and his involvement in suing Microsoft here. So let's continue on with the article here. So it talks about Klein points to Microsoft market dominance in this area, the California area, as a reason behind the decision. In Klein's view, Microsoft wants customers to use their new AI products, which makes sense. More revenue for Microsoft. Both those products require newer hardware, which they do, such as those with neural processor units, NPUs, in order to run. Windows 10 machines largely do not have the necessary hardware to run Microsoft AI products like Copilot. And as such, Klein believes Microsoft is trying to force users to buy new machines to boost the number of customers using the AI products. Klein also argues that Microsoft has offered more of a sunset window for previous operating systems or OS depreciations. The lawsuit points to how the last 3 depreciations offered an 8-year window between when the new OS launches and the previous OS was dropped, while the 4th, Windows XP, offered a 7-year window. By contrast, Windows 11 came out in 2021, which offers users a 4-year window, now 2025. There's also the argument about the number of users who will be affected by this decision. The independent estimate suggests Windows 10 might be running on as many as 54% of PCs around the world, around the globe. Klein's lawsuit argues that Microsoft is putting hundreds of millions of devices in jeopardy since a lack of security updates will leave devices vulnerable. I mean, that's a good point. We'll talk a little bit about that here in just a second. So, does this lawsuit have a chance? And this is the author's speaking here, his opinion on the lawsuit. So he talks about, I'm no legal expert, neither am I. But I am a cynic who offers or covers technology for a living. I might have pronounced scenic or cynic wrong. It might be sonic or scenic. I might have pronounced it wrong. Anyway, so my gut says no. It's not necessarily the fact that this is one man against the entity that is Microsoft, though there is that it's that some of the main arguments here won't stand up to scrutiny. The plaintiff claims Microsoft only gave users less than a year's notice for Windows 10 in a life. That simply is not true, or simply isn't true. He says as of early as 2021, Microsoft listed the retirement date for Windows 10 on its website. I can buy that company might not have been as transparent as it could have been with its messaging. General users are not going to dig through Microsoft support documentation all day and day. But to be fair, October 14th, 2025 has been a date for over 4 years now. I mean, that's a good point. You know, a lot of people don't really go out and search for Microsoft documentation, right? You only hear about things when you see certain things on social media or Twitter. So I don't know when, I don't recall, and I'm just speaking for myself. I don't recall seeing that October 14th, 2025 date was even being shared or being kind of filtered out through social media till like 2024, I want to say, is when I start realizing and seeing certain things. And that, at that point, I wasn't really doing a lot of technical videos and things of that nature. But I think that's when 2024 is when I first heard that, yes, Microsoft is going to be ending support for Windows 10. And as I remember, when that information was coming out, they didn't really give an exact date. They just said, hey, it's going to be sometime in like, mid to late 2025, but didn't really have an October date. So I wonder if he says it was on there back in 2021. I don't recall that, but I could be wrong. I wasn't looking at Microsoft documentation back in 2021 or in 2023 or 2024. So you might be right. But let's continue on with the article here. So Microsoft is also not the first company to drop software support for an operating system. In fact, it's inevitable, or it's an inevitability. Sure, the window between Windows 11 release date and Windows 10 end of life is only 4 years, but Windows 10 came out in 2020 or 2015. 10 years is not a bad run for an operating system. That's true. Apple dropped support for macOS Monterey, for example, in 2024, less than 3 years after it first came out. Didn't know that. When you look at the hardware support, macOS Monterey was the last supported version for a number of Macs, which were generally released anywhere between 2013 and 2017. I have a 2018 MacBook Pro, and what operating system is on? I want to say it's Mojave, I believe, or Big Sur. Let me look. Oh, Catalina has Catalina on this one. So yeah, that's interesting to hear that the difference between Apple and how Microsoft kind of sunsets their operating system. That means depending on your Mac, you received 7 to 11 years of security updates. It's not a perfect comparison, but this is largely how tech works. That's true. Anytime you have a software program, right, there's always going to be updates for it. And eventually that software is going to have to be sunset, right? Now, we as customers or consumers, we don't want to have to worry about sunsetting software that we depend on in our daily lives to do our jobs, to do sometimes pay our bills, right? To be sunsetted in 5 years. But it is inevitable for software at some point to say, you know what, you've been using this software for now 10 years, 11 years. It's time for us to move our systems to the most recent and most up-to-date software, man. Give it a new name, like, I don't know, Windows 54, or, if it's a Mac, call it, Mac OS Da Vinci. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff. But that is just the nature and cycle of technology and software. Eventually, that software is going to be old and you're going to have to update, you have to upgrade. That's just how technology works. So, talks about, I agree that it's scummy that Microsoft blocked users from upgrading to Windows 11 because of the TPM requirements. I agree with that. There are workarounds out there, especially since upgrading an unsupported machine to Windows 11 could result in drop Microsoft support anyway. It's in my video on why you shouldn't upgrade a Windows 10 PC to Windows 11 that does not meet the hardware requirements. There are a lot of risks in doing that. I would not advise doing that, but others have said, screw it. I'll still go ahead and upgrade it and use the workaround to upgrade my PC that does not have the requirements for Windows 11 and upgrade my PC from Windows 10 to Windows 11. And it talks about, I also agree that it's concerning that the Windows 10 market share is still so high. I agree with that. Sometimes I wish Apple, the Mac OS, and it's a huge learning curve to go from a Windows PC to a Mac. It's different operating system. Certain things are in different areas. It's a learning curve in trying to use a Mac when you've always been a Windows user. But I do wish Apple um, could be able to get into some of those other markets and really compete with Microsoft to get users to use the Mac, right? You have to be able to have a choice of, all right, we have consumers that know how to use the Mac OS, and you have consumers that know how to use Windows. So anytime that you need to use a computer, you can either use your Windows PC or your Mac. The only thing is, some of the Windows or Microsoft software doesn't play right with Apple, and I think that's why um, Apple has not been able to tap into some of these markets that Microsoft has control of. Anyway, that's just me thinking out loud. So he says here, while some users may enroll in extended security updates or buy a Windows 11 machine, I can imagine millions will not. Will Microsoft really allow that many machines to connect to the internet totally exposed? But at the end of the day, do I think the argument in this lawsuit are enough? I don't. He talks about what to do if your PC is still running Windows 10. For all we know, Microsoft changes its stance before October 14th and offer users another option. Maybe they'll kick the can down the road for another year and automatically enroll everyone in extended security supports for free, which they should do. Microsoft, please do that. Maybe Klein will win the lawsuit and bring real change to the tech industry. I hope something comes out of this lawsuit. But that's speculative. That's speculative. I can only give advice based on what we know or what we now know, or what we know now. And right now, Windows 10 support is dropping in October. Before that happens, we need to make a decision that will guarantee continued security updates going forward. That means enrolling in extended security updates in one of the three aforementioned ways: moving a new Windows 11 machine, or moving to a new Windows 11 machine, or permanently disconnecting your Windows 10 PC from the internet. I don't know about that. There are no other safe options. While I believe it's unwise to use any unsupported software while connected to the internet, 100% agree with that. There is a huge risk to doing that, but we're going to talk about that in a second. It's especially dangerous with something like Windows 10, considering the market share and the high profile nature of the OS. Windows 10 users are going to be prime targets for bad actors and hackers as soon as Microsoft pulls the plug. You're a target for bad actors and hackers in Windows 11 with security updates. We're going to talk about this in a second. Um, they'll look for any and all security vulnerabilities that they can exploit, and without a patch to protect users, they'll be able to run those exploits against millions of targets. Personally, I hope Microsoft changes something before October. Me too. But there's no way to know if they will. Until then, the best thing you can do as a Windows 10 user is prepare. I like this article. Let's talk about some things for those Windows 10 users who are still, weighing their options on what they want to do with their PC. All right, guys, this is my Windows 8 PC. I'm on Windows 8.1. I got a lot of computers that I still use. And yeah, I still use my Windows 8.1 machine. And do I still get on internet? Yeah, I still get on internet. I stay on this Windows 10 PC or Windows 8.1 PC because it has software that I use a lot, right? And it does not work on Windows 10. It does not work on Windows 11. So I still need to use certain software that I have on this Windows 8.1 excuse me, machine. So I want to make sure that I still have, let me move this, sorry. I need to make sure I still have access to Windows 8 because this machine or this software that I normally use, I need it. Certain things that I do, I need to have this software to help me out to do the things that I need to do. I'm not going to get deep into why I need to use that software, but it's good software. It doesn't work on Windows 10, Windows 11. So for my Windows 8.1 machine, I still use it. Still go to the internet, right? I can go on the internet, type in stuff. Let's type in tech support spy, right? One of the things that I have on here is I have a VPN. Um, I also have security software on here. You can use ESET. ESET still supports Windows 10, Windows 8. I think it even supports Windows 7 as far as giving you some type of security software that has a firewall and antivirus. A VPN. A VPN is definitely something you need. If you're going to stay on an older operating system, you definitely need some security software. ESET, Bitdefender. Bitdefender also supports Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. So For those users, right, and understand, right, it's a risk. It's a huge risk for me to continue to use this Windows 8.1 machine, but I still use it. Still use it because I still need to use it. I know people who still use Windows 7 and they have security software on there that still supports that machine. They don't get security updates. I don't get security updates for Windows 8.1, but I am using it at my own risk. But I'm confident in the security software that says they will support my older operating system. And I'm confident in the VPN, which also says they support my older operating system. So if you are watching this and you've come to the end, right, and you don't know what to do with Windows 10, right, and you don't want to go out and invest into a Windows 11 machine, or you're not able to upgrade your Windows 10 machine to Windows 11, you can do, in my opinion, you can do one of two things, right? One, I would say go ahead and pay the $30 and get the extended security updates for your Windows 10 machine. The second option is it's free. Well, let me take that back. Hold up. Hold up. Um, the second option is continue to use Windows 10 without the updates. Once you go past October 14th, you don't get any updates, who cares? It's at your own risk, but purchase some security software. Purchase either ESET, right? ESET security software. Um, Make sure it has a firewall. Make sure the ESET software that you purchase has a firewall and antivirus. You need both firewall and antivirus. Get Bitdefender. Make sure Bitdefender, the version of Bitdefender that you purchase, has the firewall and antivirus, right? And the third option, you need a VPN. Make sure you get a VPN, NordVPN, ExpressVPN, PIA, whatever VPN you purchase, right? You need to purchase some type of VPN if you're going to stay on Windows 10 past October 14th of 2025. Remember, you're at a risk from a bad actor or a hacker with Windows 11 with security updates, right? So are you at a higher risk by using an older operating system that don't have the security updates? Yeah, but you're just as successful getting hacked with a Windows 11 machine with updates. You're able to try to protect yourself if you're going to continue to use Windows 10 by getting a VPN and paying for a security software program like ESET or Bitdefender that has a firewall and antivirus, right? So do that. You can be like me that still uses Windows 8.1. Do that at my own risk, but I have security software that says that they will protect my PC, and I have a VPN that still says it supports and can maintain a VPN, a virtual private network for my Windows 8.1 machine. All right, I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you like this video. If you do and you learned something, please share this video with others. Tell people to watch Tech Support Spy. Support this channel. Like, comment below. Let us know what you thought about the video. And thank you for watching Tech Support Spy.